This genetics review is designed for you if you scored less than 30 out of 40 on the quiz. You will take the notes, complete the practice problems, and then you will take another version of the quiz to show me that you in fact do have these knowledge and skills, which are very important. Here's the vocabulary you need to be taking notes on. The genotype of an organism is the actual genes which the organism has. In contrast to that, the phenotype is the appearance or traits of an organism. A dominant gene is expressed even if only one allele is present, and we represent it with a capital letter. A recessive trait is a gene or allele which is expressed only if both the alleles are present, represented by a lowercase letter. That means that an allele such as lowercase a for albino skin color, you're only going to have the albino skin color if you have both lowercase a's, little a, little a. If you have a big A and a little a, you'll look like the big A says, because that is the dominant gene. A homozygous genotype, we recognize this prefix, homo meaning same. Both alleles are the same. That's the two big letters or the two little letters. The heterozygous genotype, hetero meaning different, are when the alleles are different, the big and little letter together in combination. Make sure you've written down this vocabulary. You also need to write down this chromosome diagram. This whole thing represents a chromosome. You need to be able to recognize one chromatid. That's one half of the chromosome, top and bottom on the same side, not crossing over. You also need to be able to recognize the centromere, this point in the center, centromere center, where the chromatids come together. Please draw this diagram and label it in your notes. It's going to be on the quiz, and people missed this on the last quiz. Now here are some practice problems. You also need to be able to do this. Big R is an allele for non-red hair, and little r is an allele for red hair. All these practice problems have to do with this, this gene for red hair. Is red hair a dominant or recessive trait? Look, red hair is a little r, red hair is a recessive trait. If your genotype is big R, little r, will your hair be red? You're going to look like the big R says, that's non-red hair. No, your hair will not be red. Can someone with the genotype big R, ever have a child with red hair? Well, look, they're only going to give that child the big R or the big R. No matter what, their child's going to have a big R. Their child will not have red hair. No, they cannot. What are the possible genotypes for red hair? The only possible genotype is little r, little r. You have to have the two little r's to look like the little r says, that's red hair. What are the possible genotypes for non-red hair? Anything with at least one big R. So we're looking at big R, or big R, little r. Those will both give you non-red hair. Is it possible for parents with non-red hair to have a child with red hair? Well, they would each need to that child would have the genotype little r. Is it possible to have parents with non-red hair, but they each have a little r to give? Yes, they could both have the genotype big R, little r. What is the homozygous dominant genotype? So we see homozygous means two letters the same. Dominant means the capital letter. That's big R, big R. The homozygous recessive genotype, two letters the same. Recessive means a little letter. That's little r, little r. And finally, the heterozygous genotype, hetero means different. That will be big R, little r.